doing, De'Eric?
Good.
Good. We're going to go straight into questions for De'Eric King, and we're going to start with David Hale of ESPN. David, if you had a question for De'Eric.
Hey, De'Eric. Thanks for doing this. It's been a while since you have taken competitive snaps in the game. How much have you been sort of following along with what's been discussed about how the season's going to be played, if it's going to be played, when it's going to be played? How important is it for you to just get back out there and be a part of things again?
Yeah, I think it's important for me to get back out there on the field and play games this year. But for me and I know this whole team, we're just taking it day by day, trying to get better every day, and whatever happens, happens.
Awesome. We're going to go next to Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris, if you had a question for De'Eric.
Yeah, De'Eric, with that being said, do you plan on coming back to Miami next season if there is no season this year?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the plan. But like I said, I'm taking it day by day. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm just focused. We good practice today, and I'm just focused on practice tomorrow.
Awesome. De'Eric, we have Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, if you had a question.
Hey, De'Eric, I know this is probably a hard question, but do you have a favorite receiver yet? A guy that you've, maybe spent the most time throwing the ball to, or maybe just a couple guys that you've worked with the most? I know eventually you're going to work with all of them a lot. Yeah. Maybe there's one guy that you've sort of started to build that chemistry with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had a really good first 2 days. D. Wiggs, Hartley, Pope, and both of the tight ends are really, really good. Just connecting with those guys, it's been good.
Awesome. De'Eric, next we're going to go to Susan Miller-Degnan of the Miami Herald. Susan, if you had a question for De'Eric.
Am I on, Cam?
Yes, you're good.
Yay! Okay. Hi, De'Eric.
How you doing?
Good. I was asking Coach Justice about your connection, with Jerry Williams. I know you guys had a great year together, right, in 2018.
Yeah.
How nice is it that he's there? How does that help them along? And also know that the O-line was young and struggled last season. What have you seen that makes you believe this group will be better? And was that a little bit of a concern when you decided to come to Miami?
First of all, with Jared, it's just great having him on my team. I've been playing with him for 4 years. Me and him started together for 3 years, so I feel like we have a pretty good connection. I trust him. And the O-line has done great. Ever since I got here in the spring, I know it was a lot of concerns in the media and this and that, but those guys are really, really young. And if you're around any good O-line, they are always third year in the program, fourth year in the program. So, like, now these guys are older. What I've seen since I've been here in spring and fall camp first 2 days, those guys are pretty good. I have no complaints about them. Everybody works their butt off, and I'm excited for them this year.
Hey, one other thing, does it help you? Does it help the line? I mean, when you take off and run, you're so agile. Is that something good for the line, or can that also be a challenge? I asked Aaron that also.
I think it could be both, but I think for the most part it helps those guys. Just when they know that they don't have to be perfect every single snap. I feel like sometimes I can make them right just by getting at the pocket and extending plays. And also, anybody that's played with a mobile quarterback, it's kind of weird at first because they have to know where he's at all times. They could be blocking the guy one direction. He's like running that way. So I think for the most part, it's pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
De'Eric, we're going to go to Matt Shodell from Kane Sport. Matt, if you had a question for De'Eric.
Yeah, hey, De'Eric. So a lot of offenses out there have had the benefit of, even with the shutdown, they previously had a returning starting quarterback, the returning offensive system they already knew. Is that going to be a tough setback still to overcome, or have you guys been able to do some things to maybe offset that disability, so to speak? And if so, can you talk about how you were able to offset?
Yeah, just for me, I've played in a different offense every single year I've been in college, so it's nothing new. And I know these guys have many different coordinators every single year too. So I feel like the offense is simple and it allows us to play free. So we know the whole offense right now, in and out. He can call anything and we can execute it to the best of our ability. But this offense is a great offense. It's not a lot of thinking. It's a lot of guys just running fast and making plays.
Awesome. De'Eric, we're going to go to Tom D'Angelo of the Palm Beach Post. Tom, if you had a question for De'Eric.
Hey, De'Eric.
They done.
Good. Could you just take me, just two questions. Could you take me quickly through or your decision to come to Miami? How was it difficult? Was it easy? You know, and what were the determining factors in that?
It wasn't too difficult. When I entered the portal, I had a few teams in mind that I was looking at, and Miami is one of them. Ultimately, when I came on my visit, I just wanted to see the scheme and meet the guys who I work with. That's the most important thing to me. Just playing with the right guys and the right fit for me. And it always helps to have a good on the other side of the ball. And Coach Diaz is a great defensive coach, hiring Coach Lashley. Just put it over the edge for me to come to Miami. So that's why I came.
Awesome. Derek, we're going to David Lake at 24/7 Sports. David, if you had a question for Derek.
Yeah, Derek, wanted to ask you about Jalen Knighton. You know, what type of impression did he make on you during that 1 week in the spring? And, you know, if it was a good impression, as that carried over here to fall camp? And just in general, what impresses you about him?
Man, Jalen is a great football player. I kind of knew it just from the winter workouts. I kind of see how he ran and moves like that. But that first spring practice, he really opened my eyes a lot. He's a young guy, young running back, and a lot of times these guys don't get everything as far as like picking up protection and stuff like that. But Jalen's super smart, and he's great with the ball in his hands. And yes, since camp is carried over, he's making plays every single day. He's a great young player.
Awesome. Derek, we got time for a couple more. We're going to go to Wes Lammy of Worldwide West. If you had a question for Derek.
Hey, Derek. Yeah. Derek, obviously, the moment you stepped foot on campus here, you went obviously on your social media and expressed obviously your support for racial and just. I wanted to ask you obviously what fueled that, and also to do you still see some stigmas that you still remember playing the quarterback position as a black quarterback?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm big on racial injustice. Obviously, I'm a young black man in America, so it's home for me. And I feel like me going on social media, just expressing how I felt. I have a pretty good amount of followers on there. I can just spread the word. I'm not saying me making a statement is going to change anything, but if it can open one person's mind, then I think that's positive. I'm real big on that. And yeah, just being a black quarterback. I mean, it's been like this since I was growing up. I mean, my dad used to always tell me, if you have to prove you can play the position, being a black quarterback, and that's anybody, but it's a little more being a black quarterback. So yeah, it's a lot of stigmas out there that the guys like me like to run all the time, can't throw the ball. But I just play football, and I worry about what everybody has a right to say. I don't worry about all that.
Awesome. Derek, we got two more. Next is David Ferrones of the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, if you had a question for Derek.
Hey, Derek, you mentioned you built a solid chemistry with a lot of the veteran receivers, probably the projected first-teamers at the skill positions. What about out of the young guys, those four freshman receivers, and also Jeremiah Payton, another young receiver that has now been here for a second season? Just your early impressions, and is there anyone there that you've built a lot of camaraderie?
Yeah, all those guys are pretty dang good. I feel like we have a smart young receiver group. They're catching on really fast, and that's not something that's normal. This kind of offense, like a lot of choice routes and this and that. But Sean, Daz, Xavier, Jeremiah Payton has really shown out these first 2 days. So I'm excited to get all those guys. Just the deeper we can be, the better we'll be off. So the more guys that can do it and make plays, the better the team will be.
Awesome. Last up, Derek, we have David Hale from ESPN. David, if you had a question for Derek.
Derek, you just were talking about the platform that you have for speaking out on social injustice, and I don't know if you've read thoroughly the Pac-12 letter, the Big Ten letter. I know some other groups have spoken out of players on specific issues related to the virus or related to social issues or related to player compensation. I'm curious what your thoughts on that have been, and seeing other players kind of take such a more active role in sort of deciding their own futures right now.
I think it's good for those guys. I think players are realizing that they have power, some kind of power, and if they want to voice their opinion, more power to them. I think they're doing it in the right way. They're just trying to get things better on everybody's part. So I think I support those guys.
Thanks a lot.
Derek, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon. Good luck in tomorrow's practice.
Thank you.